Ranima. Here my co-host as always. He is the man, he is the brand. Jay Thomas.
Good. How you doing, Stu?
Doing good, man. How about you?
Doing well, man. Good to be back in Ohio.
Good.
Had a good time in the Wild Wild West. Good. Shout out to 702. Shout out to Las Vegas. Show us a great time, but always good to be back at home.
Good to have you back. Good to have you back. We have a special guest with us today from Mount Union, national champion, mentor, teacher, coach, entrepreneur, the one and only, the blessed one, Josh Scott. Clap it up. Clap it up. Man?
Good. How you doing, Josh?
I'm doing good, man. Late evening, we had practice earlier today. Right after practice, I went right to sleep for a solid 3 hours because them kids would stress me out.
I know how it feels. I know how it feels, man. You know, also a coach, same grade, 7th grade.
Yep.
So I know how it feels, man. Especially when, first days, too. So it was your first day of practice, right?
First day of practice today. Just easy run through practice, trying to get the fellas to get the hang of my coaching style. A lot of them were football players, so they understand it. But some of the guys that are strictly basketball have to understand my coaching style. So we just, knocking some rust off the shoes because a lot of guys ain't shot at basketball in a while. So it was a nice little practice. But at the same time, with me, I'm not gonna lie, I'm huge on winning and I'm huge on work ethic, and those guys gonna understand that eventually. If not, I will run them till they understand it.
That's how it is, man. That's how it is. You got to be competitive, man. You got to be competitive. It's just part of sports.
Exactly.
So especially at that age, they're in that transition. And so it's a fun age though. It's a fun grade. It's interesting. It's interesting.
Isn't it crazy that that you get a chance to come back to your roots, to like coach to where you were at? Like how was that for you, just coming back to Fairfield High School, where you were at?
Honestly, it's a huge blessing. Actually, I was working numerous knockoff jobs like UDF, UPS, a whole bunch of plantation jobs, and it's just like all of a sudden I get back and then they're like, "Do you want to coach football?" And I'm like, well, yeah, I want to coach football. So, and then we go undefeated in football. And they're like, do you want to coach basketball? And I'm like, well, yeah, I want to coach basketball. So it's a blessing, and God works in mysterious ways. Because I've always wanted to work with kids. And just to be able to come back at the school that I've actually walked those halls, it's amazing to be able to work with those kids because I've been in their shoes before.
For the ones out there who are watching, if you don't know about the blessed one, he's a legend. Played at Fairfield High School, class of 2010. Played alongside safety Aaron Chenault. Shout out to Aaron. He was a UC safety. The blessed one played against Spencer Ware, LSU, former running back, plays with Kansas City Chiefs, and also intercepted Braxton Miller. So you picked off both of them. But, what was that like, playing against, people now in the NFL when you look back at it, that you got a chance to really compete with, high-end athletes, and you were right there in the midst with that. Like, what was that experience like?
It's a great experience. I know just coming up, my dad always told me you wanted to make plays against guys that had names. Like, it's okay to get a pick or two against Johnny from time to time, but, like, getting an interception against Braxton Miller my sophomore year, he was a freshman, so we were both young and didn't know what our futures were going to hold. But, like, Spencer Ware, everybody knew about Spencer. Everybody knew Spencer would go very far. And I know I had an interception against him as well. And it's huge with me because I'm a big competitor. So, like, big games, we need big playmakers is always how I looked at it. Like, if you don't want to make a play in the big game, then what's the point? Because I don't want to be a big fish in a small pond.
Exactly.
I want to be a big fish in a big pond.
When the lights are on, you got to perform.
Exactly.
Right. You want to perform against the best.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's why it's always good to be, because some players are good, but they never get the chance to show that they're good against good players.
Exactly.
Sometimes you play at a school where you don't really play no competition, and so you might be this level, but they don't choose you because they can't tell because you don't play against the best. So
exactly.
That's why it's always good to get exposure against the best players. It's
exactly.
Yeah.
And I know you were a 3-year letter winner at Fairfield High School. You were all conference and academic all conference at Fairfield. You were selection, and you went to Ohio Northern University, right?
Yeah.
So I know you didn't get a chance to really stay there that long, and you ended up transferring to Purple Rain Nation. Shout out to the Purple Raiders, Mount Union University. And what was that like, starting off at Ohio Northern and then transitioning? You had to transfer early, adjust to the college life, and then just had to transition to a whole nother small city. And what was that transfer experience like for you?
That was probably, honestly, those years of my life is crazy. And I look back and I thank God because, first of all, coming out of high school, I wasn't really huge on going to college. My older brother went to Lane College, and that's where I wanted to go. I received a full scholarship from them. And I wanted to go there, but then he ended up transferring out. So really, I was like, already didn't want to go to college. And I realized my grandma was like, you got to go. Like, this is something that you're going to look back and be like, thank God you went. So going to Ohio Northern, I went in, and I was like, I'm going to play football. That's what my thought was. I honestly didn't really care about the academics. I'm like, I'm going to play football. So I went in, became one of the 7 freshmen that were able to get on the varsity early. I'm not going to lie, I was a cocky dude. I was getting interceptions in camp because at first they were talking about they were going to keep me down with the freshmen. So I was getting interceptions, I was punting balls, and I was just out of control for real. But my first year I did real solid on varsity as a freshman. So then I got a taste of just that football life and being a freshman on varsity. And going into my second year, actually, those guys were probably going to name me a captain. I got hurt, herniated my disc in my back, and I messed up my hamstring as well. So that year I had to sit out. And just being a guy that was only really focused on football, that's when like life really hits you, and you're like, well, I really got to take my academics serious because my academics were lacking, especially coming from high school. I was a academic all-conference dude. So, my parents were on me. And I was getting in a lot of trouble. And that's one thing my grandma told me, like, your freedom can be your worst enemy. Getting in college, mommy and daddy ain't right up the road. They're 3 hours away from me, so I'm doing what I want.
Better preach.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm doing what I want.
And that's funny you say that because, we were just talking to Cal Logan last episode, and he said the exact same thing, when you get that freedom.
College ain't no joke.
Choices. When you have choices, when you have options, it could be detrimental.
It's crazy. So your first season, Mount Union, that was 2012, right?
Yeah, first
So you
season.
played in all 15 games. You had 33 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and shared a sack. And that year, y'all won the national championship, right?
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, University of Mount Union, they are the 12-time national champions at the Division III level. Produced Pierre Garçon.
Yeah, Pierre Garçon, Cecil Shorts.
Played receiver with the Indianapolis Colts. Went to the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Just produced a lot of talent at Mount Union. And what was it like, winning a national championship with your older brother, Isaiah? And I know for the people out there that don't know about Team Scott, your dad played at Ohio University. Your brother, Isaiah, played with you. You played. You got Elijah, your younger brother, at Mount Union. And then you got the chosen one, the younger brother, heading to Michigan State. What's that legacy like? You guys have literally created a dynasty in your family, man. I know that got to be special.
It is very special, and it's crazy that God does. He favors our family. Thank goodness we're a very faithful family, and it's just playing with my brother and winning a championship coming from Fairfield. My sophomore year we went 0-10. We didn't win a game. I broke my leg. I didn't even finish the season.
0-10.
0-10.
And I thought the Bengals were bad.
Yeah, exactly. So then my junior year we had Doc Gamble. We went 1-9. So my older brother never really got a chance to win, and I can remember him crying because we're competitive. I can tell you right now, I can't stand to lose. That's one of my biggest things. I used to strike out in baseball and cry, so I don't like to lose. That's a big thing with me and him. So just when we got to Mount Union and just that winning environment, you could feel it. I promise you, when I transferred in, I knew we were going to win the championship, and we weren't even in camp yet. I was just staying in my brother's house, sleeping on the couch at the time, and I knew we were going to win a championship because I seen the vibe from these guys. One, they've been in the championship 3 years in a row, and they hadn't won. So this was their last opportunity. So with their backs up against the wall, I knew something was going to shake. And just being a part of that, we had Nick Driscoll, Charles Diesel, Chris Denton, Junior Collins, and then my older brother. It's just those guys had a purpose and they had a goal and they went and got it done. And just being a part of that was a blessing. Coming in as a transfer, I had to work my behind off in the off season when I left Ohio Northern, especially coming off a back injury, because I wanted to be a part of it. I wanted to play. And that's real key, is being part of it. Some people are a part of the team. Some people are actually making an impact on the team. I felt like I made an impact my sophomore year when me and my brother won a championship. And that's something nobody can ever take away from us, because we didn't have the greatest record in high school, but we were definitely champs in college.
To that ring.
Oh, the ring is crucial.
Oh, get that.
That ring.
Get
Definitely
that.
crucial.
Get that.
Says Raiders on it, 15-0. Scott, I wore number 20 back then. I felt like Ed Reed. And, I mean, they got a watch with it, and they gave us this hat with it. We had these little pins.
Amazing.
Very good. And, I mean, having Larry Karras, legendary coach, he'll go down as probably one of the greatest coaches to coach. I know that for a fact.
That was your college coach?
That was my college coach when we won the championship. And then my junior and senior year, we had his son, Vince Karras, which is a very great coach as well.
Okay. Oh, your junior year, 2013, right?
Yeah.
So you were all OAC academic team, OAC second team, 71 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, 1 sack, 1 fumble recovery, a touchdown return, and you led the team with 5 interceptions.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
That was
Amazing. How does it feel, man, to leave a legacy?
It's crazy because it's just like, I mean, I'm just out there competing and I want to win. But, like, you realize, like, 'cause this is the year, like, I'm, like, the blessed one and, like, all this stuff is going on. Like, I made World Star because I knocked the dude's helmet off.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Ohio Northern, that was against your former team.
It was my first time going back.
We got to feature that.
Yeah.
That hit at Sun Series.
It was my first time going back to Ohio Northern after I transferred. We had played in my sophomore year, but this is my first time returning home. So it's like a homecoming for me.
Right.
And it's crazy because the dude I actually recruited to come to Ohio Northern, he's a receiver for their team. And, like, one play we're in cover 2, Trey Jones, he's a cover 2 corner. He didn't get the jam, even though he's a great athlete. He was just playing with the Kansas City Chiefs. But he missed the jam. The receiver's bolting on a streak. And I'm like, I'm not going to pick the ball off. So I literally just go, drop my shoulder on him. That's my signature hit. And I look up. I thought it was the ball. And it's his helmet and his mouthpiece that's in the air. So I'm like, man, this dude still caught the ball. But he made World Stars. Shaq and Terrell Owens were tweeting about it. And my boy Brady Payne, he's the one that put it on World Star. And I was like, man, you just made me glow up real quick. And like, everybody knew me if they didn't know me already as the blessed one. So
That
was huge.
Because, you know, the thing about a legacy is, I always try to tell people this. It's not about what you take with you. It's about what you leave behind.
Exactly.
You know, and so you left so much behind. Your whole family is leaving a legacy. You know what I mean? And, you know, it's just amazing. It's amazing. That's pretty. It's special. And I know it has to be. How does it feel? You know what I mean? Just like.
I mean, honestly, that could be tear jerking at times. I look back, I'm like, we all came through Fairfield.
Right.
And we all dominated in Fairfield, I must say. Even though the record didn't always show, people knew about the Scotts and playing football at Fairfield. It's people like
Team
that
Scott.
I didn't. Yeah, they knew about teams. That's people like I don't know. They're like, I watched you play, or I watched your brother play, and it's crazy because it's just like, man, I'm just out here. I was just out here playing the sport I love, doing what I do. It wasn't nothing special, but it turned out to be something very special, and I love it because it's just like my little brother Josiah Scott, just to finish it off, full ride to Michigan State. Probably one of the best DBs to come through Fairfield, and that's huge for me saying that because I was a DB to come through Fairfield. My older brother was a DB to come through Fairfield, but he really capped it off. He capped it off right. I don't think there's going to be another DB that'll surpass what he did in Fairfield.
Right.
But it was a good thing that he watched us all through Mount Union and just watching us. That one thing he does, he's a real good observer. He can observe real well. And watching us, his gameplay, he mimics me and my older brother. Like, it's crazy. Like, I'm like, I feel like I'm watching myself.
Right.
Like, when he goes and gets a pick, I'm like, he got it.
Right. Yeah.
Now, granted, I'm a little louder than that. But I'm not about to yell on this mic.
I've heard.
Yeah, I'm usually hype at the game. But it's crazy that, like, the guy was saying, like, you guys should have, like, your names engraved in the seat at Fairfield for Team Scott. And one thing I can say about Team Scott is, I mean, my mom and my dad, they've supported us through football and all sports. Like, that's one thing. My dad, like, I love him to death for that because he always said, he's like, I just want to watch my boys play sports. Like, that was huge to me because it's just like, I mean, he got hurt in college, so he didn't really get a chance to live out his dream. So he kind of lived it out through us, but we made it one of the best dreams he can live it out through.
Right.
So
What position did your dad play?
My dad played cornerback, and he went to OU on a full ride to running back, and he tore his ACL.
Dang. Back then, people just they used to just blow out their knees.
Yeah.
And just, from your dad, like how critical was it for you just to set the bar high, for Elijah and Josiah and, just being your brother's keeper, just what it's all about.
Yeah.
And just teaching them at a young age, that work ethic.
Oh, it was super critical. It's crazy because me and my older brother actually had a chalk talk one time. It's a heart-to-heart. And he always said, he's like, because my older brother's smaller than me. Mm-hmm. And he had a shot at the NFL. He was actually with the Panthers for a little bit, but got cut. But it's this fact, he told me, he's like, I always wanted to set the bar high so that y'all could reach. Because my grandma always told us, reach for the stars. So he always wanted to set the bar high so we had something to reach for. Mm-hmm. We didn't want to get content. I never wanted to get content. And with my older brother, what he did, he set that bar very high. And it was sometimes hard where I'm like, man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to match up to what Isaiah did. Mm-hmm. But I was glad that he set that bar high. And then I went and did what I did, setting the bar high for Elijah and Joe. But on the field and off the field, though, that's one thing my older brother, he likes about me. He's like, well, you went and did it off the field with the grades, but you also did it on the field. Mm-hmm. And then just like me as a people person, I reached out to a lot of people. I did like volunteer service on Mount Union's campus. So he's like, you really went above and beyond.
You went to Haiti as well, right?
Guatemala.
I'm sorry. Guatemala. You got a chance to do some, what is that, volunteer
we actually
work?
Went out to Guatemala for a week. We built two houses.
Like a missionary trip?
Yeah, it's like a missionary trip. Mm-hmm. Class was actually called Social Responsibility.
Okay.
It's one of my favorite classes at Mount Union. One, it gives you an opportunity to travel, and two, it gives you an opportunity to travel and help somebody.
So you got a chance to travel a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's something huge to me because, traveling is like my mom took us all over the world when we were younger. She didn't care. She just took us everywhere. We've been to Florida, been to California, been to New York, been to New Jersey. We've been all over. So that was huge to me, and I know that's something I wanted to continue to do because those experiences, that's something that you can't take away from somebody. Mm-hmm. Like me winning a championship with my brother, you can never take that away from somebody.
Exactly, because if I was to ask you, what did you get for Christmas 10 years ago? Probably don't remember, but you're going to always remember those family trips.
Always.
The Stag Bowl. You're going to remember those experiences. Mm-hmm. I'll take experiences over materialistic items any day.
Exactly.
With me and Stu, like, our AAU trip to Memphis, our national trip.
Good.
I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
Shout out to Rendezvous Barbecue. I don't know if you remember those ribs.
I know we went to a lot of barbecue places. I just know that.
Nilly's Barbecue in Memphis. If you have not been to Memphis, Tennessee, shout out to Kona J.
Graceland.
Our
Don't forget we went there.
Yep. Shout out to Kona J. We're going to take that trip to Memphis. He's a foodie is what I call him. He loves to eat. So we're going to
what?
A foodie. That's what it's called. People that like to go to every restaurant.
I ain't heard that one.
All right, look it up. In-N-Out Burger,
foodie.
Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. Like, this dude has a bucket list of where he wants to eat at. So back on subject. So you majored in physical education.
Yep.
Now, you're a football and basketball coach. So you're definitely using your degree. How has that been? What was your first season like coaching, and how critical is it to just be that mentor? Because, some players don't have a father figure. So you could be looked at, as a coach now to step in and just be that father figure or just to be that role. So how have you utilized coaching to just mentor to the kids?
Well, that opportunity, I've worked at the YMCA since the age 14. I've always loved working with kids. So just getting the opportunity to work in the school as an educational assistant and also coach the kids. So my first season coaching 7th grade football, I'm like, man, it's just like you have that little bit of pressure because you like with me, I hold myself so high and it's just like, man, I gotta do this. And I was like, I don't want to lose. Mm-hmm. And I told the kids on the first day, I'm like, we can't lose. Because I was like, y'all thought y'all run.
What was y'all's record?
Our record was 7-0.
7-0.
Yeah, we were undefeated. So.
Oh, your team that you coached?
Yeah, for football.
That's fine.
Yeah, so it's crazy because it's like you got to speak that into existence. Though I had to get my players to understand that because I'm like, it ain't even about me. I was like, it's about y'all. I want y'all to have fun. I don't want y'all to experience losses yet. Mm-hmm. Because I'm like, we still young, but it was huge. The players, honestly, they were very coachable. For my first year, they made it easy for me.
That's critical
on the football field.
For success, you got to be coachable. Mm-hmm. You got to be, still, you coach people. Mm-hmm. You don't want that player to just think they know it all. Man.
Yeah,
you got to be coachable. And I remember coaches used to tell me that. And I was talented, mm-hmm. but with the right coach, it can just help you get to the next level. So what advice would you give to high school students who want to get to the next level? You played in college, you got a chance to play professionally. National champion. What advice would you give somebody to, you've seen your little brother Josiah get to Michigan State.
Yeah.
Right. What advice would you give them to get to that next level?
Honestly, the work ethic, your character, those are huge. Being coachable, like I said. One thing I can say about my little brother is when I was at Mount Union, I'd come home from time to time in the summer, and I'd go out back, and I need somebody to throw me the ball when I work out. And I was like, you know what? You going to work out too. Mm-hmm. We got to take advantage of opportunities. That's one thing a lot of players don't do. A lot of players, when the season's over with, they just chill. They think that's time to chill. That's not time to chill. That's time to be working. There's never an off season, and that doesn't even go in sports. That goes in life. Mm-hmm. You got to be working on something at all times so you can gain and keep growing. And it's crucial because it's just like, people think like these dudes just wake up and they're great. Oh, no. My little brother was a soccer player all the way up to like the 6th grade.
I never knew that.
He played soccer and baseball. And then he was like, I want to play football. And I said, what? What? You want to play what? But you look at him now, he's a full ride commit to Michigan State. But it wasn't easy. He had to work. But he was coachable, his work ethic, and he had a good head on his shoulder. And I can definitely say he watched his older brothers and learned from our mistakes. That's one thing. The best thing about being a baby is if you can learn from somebody else's mistakes, you're going to do great things. Because you don't have no excuse. Mm-hmm. So that's huge. Guys that want to go to the next level, they definitely got to have strong work ethic, got to have strong character, and you got to be coachable.
You got to be disciplined.
You got to be disciplined. A lot of people, it's crazy because I ain't said it yet, but that everybody knows me for the word undisciplined. I've called so many people undisciplined because the thing is, it was one time back my junior year in high school where Coach Doc Gamble, one of the greatest coaches I had in high school, he called me undisciplined every day.
That's where you got that from.
Every day. He has it instilled in my mind till this day. And I understood, though, because I was a great athlete and I made plays, but I was backsliding at times. Like, I remember one game we held Xenia to 0 passing yards. And Doc had a certain technique he wanted us to play, and I didn't do it all game. Now, granted, the other team didn't get no receiving yards, but he told me after the game, he said, Scott, you would have had an A+, but you were undisciplined. You didn't play the technique I wanted you to play. You were supposed to be playing catch man. You were playing press. He's like, you're undisciplined. So I literally heard that my whole junior year, and that was instilled in my mind. But I understood. That you have to be disciplined in everything you do.
See, very good. Because I feel like a lot of people fail because they're undisciplined.
Oh, yeah.
Because
everything.
Part of being disciplined is doing something you don't want to do.
Oh, boy.
When you feel like you're right, when you feel like, I got... No. Do this. Mm-hmm. And, and I feel like a lot of people fail. Like you said, off season. A lot of people, when it's the off season, they like, it's time to chill. Mm-hmm. It's time for me to relax. I've been working hard. I deserve this, right? Exactly. They start saying, I deserve this. Like somebody owe you for doing this. Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, if this is something you really want to do, there should be no off season. You should not feel like you should get an award for working hard.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of people, especially athletes or even in business, being an entrepreneur, a lot of people feel like, I deserve this because no, it's 24/7.
Exactly.
And Gary V, he came back up again in our episode. He talks about all the time, like, if you need a break, something's broken. Mm-hmm. Something ain't right. Mm-hmm. Something ain't right because you should be loving what you're doing so much that you don't need a break from it. You don't want to break from it.
Exactly.
You don't even want to break from it.
I couldn't wait to get on the show today.
Yeah.
Something's gonna keep you up at night.
Yeah.
Whether it's your business, whether it's athletics, whether it's your schoolwork. There's kids going to school on academics, guys, but something should keep you up at night. I know things used to keep me up at night. Mount Union dudes used to tell me day before the game, why you not going to sleep till 4:00 in the morning? I said, I don't know, because I'm thinking about winning. It's crazy. Like, people's like, you don't even get enough sleep and you still go out and ball out. And I'm like, I'm disciplined with my diet, and I'm disciplined with my conditioning, and I'm athletic. But something's always going to keep you up. And if something's not keeping you up at night, then you need to find something that's going to keep you up at night, because that's what's going to make you great one day. That's going to take you far.
Right.
You can sleep after you are great.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And that's the thing, man. Like, people. I heard that there's two types of people who wake up and say, it's morning. And then the other person says, crap, it's morning. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, and the difference is purpose. When you know you got purpose, you wake up like, it's morning, let's go.
Exactly.
But when you don't know your purpose, you wake up like, man, I'm sleepy.
Page
I want to go to sleep.
On Instagram, you probably heard of it. A lifestyle brand. It's called CEO Millionaires. And there was a quote. It was like, if you woke up without a goal, go back to sleep. And I'm like, that's a lot of people, like you were saying, they wake up and they don't have any intentions. They just get up with no purpose.
Right.
And they don't even, run the day, and then the day runs them.
Right.
So you got to wake up with those intentions and just get it done. So, like Stu was talking about, with entrepreneurship and like business, we see a lot of athletes making that transition. So what was that like for you too, now that you also coach, but you've even, began a little bit of entrepreneurship? How's that process been for you? The fun of getting a chance to travel around the country a little bit, meet some people, and build your network. And what's that transition been like? Life after college, from stop playing sports.
Man, it's hard. I can definitely say that. But nothing in life's easy. Anything in life that's easy, you probably don't want it. So I ain't gonna lie, it was kind of hard transitioning from college, life after college, not being an athlete. I mean, I played arena football, but then like once that's over, it's like life after. It's like you got to work, and it's like you're not really doing the thing you love anymore. But switching to the entrepreneurship, honestly, I took my passion for my sports, and I honestly just took that and I just dumped it right in that cup. When one well runs dry, you gotta have another one that's filled up already. And you gotta be ready to take on that task.
Utilizing that teamwork.
Yeah. So one thing that was crucial with me with entrepreneurship, I realized like working as a team is so crucial. It's so crucial. As a coach, I tell my 7th graders, if my 7th graders can get it, there's no reason why grown men shouldn't be able to understand working as a team.
Together, everyone achieves more.
Exactly.
You know what, man? I'm sorry, I got excited because being coaches, you know the importance. You know it as an athlete, right? But when you start coaching, you start realizing the importance of teamwork,
man.
And I read this thing. Eric Thomas, great motivational speaker, number one, the best.
That man's a great motivational speaker.
Oh man, I was watching one of his videos, one of his TGIMs. Thank God it's Monday, and he was talking about how. It's these horses. Can't remember what kind of horses, but they're like work horses. Like, they pull these like things, and by themselves they can pull 7,000 pounds. That's like amazing.
That's crazy.
That's amazing. It's these real strong horses.
I was going to say, those some strong horses.
Strong. I mean, you should see them. I was like, that's fake. Like, that can't be no real horse. It was 7,000 pounds, right? But when 2 of them come together, they can pull 15,000. And that's like, well, it should be 14.
Right, the math is...
But, it's higher because it's 2. And I was like, that's amazing already. Exactly. But it didn't stop there. He said, but when they train together, if they train together, coming up and they train together, it's 25,000 pounds.
That is crazy.
I'm like, wait a second.
People don't realize how good teamwork is.
Teamwork. And his video is called The Power of Two. So if you want to look it up, Power of Two by Eric Thomas. And I was like, man, teamwork is so crucial. What people can achieve together, some people want to go alone, and then they don't realize, man, there's power in numbers. You got to have a circle, got to have a team. Teamwork is so crucial.
A system is critical too, honestly. I definitely feel a system is critical as like a coach and an entrepreneur. I mean, coming from Mount Union, they called us the machine for a reason. Like, they called us the machine because we had a system for that football team.
Y'all never rebuilt it, y'all reloaded.
Exactly. We didn't just go win 12 national titles just cause. No, there was a system. Like, everybody knew God Family Football. Like, any Mount player knows that. They know the system, the weight room plan, like everything. There's a system to everything in life, even in business. There's a system.
That system in place. So
and if you don't follow that system and you want to try to do things on your own and not work with the team, you're going to struggle. You're going to need your team.
So you got to be
discipline. Don't be undisciplined.
Hey, man, that's the lesson of the day.
You gotta be disciplined.
gotta be disciplined.
I was running late today, and he was like, "Jay, you're undisciplined."
Yeah, I told him that too.
I was late too. I'm undisciplined.
Y'all always undisciplined earlier. Hey, we gonna have undisciplined moments throughout the day.
Yeah, that's true.
You got one more thing, too?
Yeah, I always like to ask our guests one thing, and, you're an entrepreneur, you're a coach, and, sometimes I know it can get rigorous, sometimes the schedule and all of that, and sometimes a lot of people, like we say, a lot of people quit. Mm-hmm. Sometimes your competition ends up quitting. Yeah. They weed themselves out. By just simply if you just keep going, 50% of the people you're in competition with are going to fade away because they quit.
Right.
So what's your why? What gets you up in the morning and say, I'm going again and again and again?
Honestly, I got a bunch of whys, honestly. It's crazy because it's just like, my family, that's a huge why. Mm-hmm. That is a very huge why. For Team Scott, my mom always used to say, like, do it for Team Scott if you're going to do it for anybody. And it's just like, I understood, like, even just with football, entrepreneurship, or anything, like, I look back, my little brothers, Joe and Elijah, didn't have a choice when they had to come watch me and Zaya play. Mm-hmm. They didn't have a choice at all. They were dragged to the game because they were young. They were babies. Right. But still, in fact, they didn't have a choice. So I look back on, like, man, like, when my little brother gets older, I'm like, I definitely want to watch him play. I'm definitely going to support him. Mm-hmm. If I got to support him financially, emotionally, analytically, it doesn't matter. Like, whatever he needs, I got him. And that's one thing I know with Team Scott. We all know that whatever we need, we got each other. Right. My older brother lives all the way out in South Dakota, and I know if I really needed him, he would come back in a heartbeat. Right. So my why is definitely my family. My family. That's one thing Team Scott got to keep us strong because, everybody has their own problems, and I know I want to be that guy to be able to make sure my family doesn't have to struggle. For doggone sure, Joe's doing that himself by going to Michigan State as a full ride. Mom won't have to pay. She won't have to drop a dime for him to go to Michigan State. She might have to drop some gas money to drive him there, but after that, they gonna take care of him. So that's huge for me. It's just my family, and then my grandmother. That's honestly like my rock. Like I wouldn't have made it honestly without her. She moved to Cincinnati about 9-10 years ago, and like that was like. It was crazy because I was like, I couldn't afford a cap and gown, mess for graduation, like crazy stuff. And I'm just like, my grandma, man, she's always had my back. She always said she's my prosecutor, and I thank God for her, and I definitely do it for her. She's not a person that's really big on traveling or anything like that, but she's like, live your life. And like she says, just like, because I check up on her every weekend, and that's another why. Because she's like, she told me this past weekend, she's like, people like you are the reason us old people have a reason to get up. That's our why. So that's crucial to me because I'm like, me just visiting her makes her know she needs to get up because she knows I'm going to come visit her. So that's a huge why for her, and it's a huge why for me. So it works back and forth. So that's huge to me.
That's awesome, man. Appreciate
having
you.
A support group is so important.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's crucial.
Having accountability, knowing that somebody's counting on you, it really can make you just, when you feel like you want to quit and you know somebody's counting on you, somebody's looking, somebody's watching, it just makes you say, all right, I'm going to get back up. I'm going to get going.
Exactly. You got to stay strong with your family and friends, man. You got to, because I'm like, somebody's always going to be counting on you. Whether it's you, or you. Somebody's counting on you, whether y'all believe it or not. And somebody's always watching you, too. And you don't know who's never watching you. So you got to stay strong for even those people that believe in you. There's kids in the 7th grade that like look at Coach Scott like Coach Scott's the man. I'm just like, all right, I'm disciplined.
Stay disciplined, young fella. Stay disciplined.
That's
you might get here.
So like you said, somebody's always watching you. So the person on that shirt. We got the chosen one.
This is
the chosen one.
Josiah Scott. Mom calls him JJ.
We're about to bring him on next.
Good.
Man, we appreciate you greatly. Joining us on the show.
Oh yeah,
telling everybody your story.
Man, I appreciate it.
The blessed one, one of the missing.
The blessed one. Clap it up for the blessed one in the building.
Good.
Bless us with his presence.
Oh yeah, believe that.
This is Jay Thomas here with Stu Anima from the Millennial Believer Podcast, and we are with the chosen one. The one and only Josiah Scott, one of the top defensive backs in the state of Ohio. Man, like, it's been a blessing just getting a chance to see you play, getting a chance to get to know you over the summer. This dude's class 2017 from Fairfield High School, rated as a 3-star prospect from Rivals.com and ESPN, committed to Michigan State University. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being with us, man. Thanks for being with us. So, I know that you committed back in July 2016.
July 31st.
July 31st. Yeah. I was at that announcement at my alma mater, Fairfield High School. So that was special, getting a chance to see that. And you're going to graduate high school early. So
yeah.
You get a chance to enroll when, in January?
January 9th, I'll be starting classes. December 22nd, that'll be my last day of high school. I'll be signing my letter of intent at my high school also, around my friends, just to enjoy that last day with them.
Okay. So what is that like, getting a chance to enroll early? That's a lot of pressure. A lot of people don't understand. Like, you'll be in college, in 2 months. So how do you think you're prepared for that? Like, how do you feel just going to just take that jump?
Well, back last year when I started getting recruited, I made my mind up that if I was to get bigger offers and more offers, I feel like I would be able to go in college and make a difference early. So when I got the Iowa offer, I was thinking right there and then I was going to enroll early and try to go there and play early, so just have bigger hopes and dreams. So I felt like the way to get those bigger hopes and dreams was to just enroll early, get there early before everybody else, get that semester in and get spring ball in, get bigger. And I think that would just help me in the long run. So I don't think it's that much pressure, but I think it'll be good for me in the long run.
Exactly. So just getting there, getting that foundation with the team, getting in the weight room, getting used to the campus life, I think it'll be a good experience for you. So I know your senior season, you had 44 tackles, 5 interceptions, 3 touchdowns, 10 pass breakups, 2 fumble recoveries, and 2 block punts. Y'all went 7-3 for the regular season, 7-4 overall. I know y'all lost to St. X in the playoffs, but you got a chance to host that playoff game at home. And that was in, years.
Yeah, it's been forever since we had it. And it was huge for the school because the school's always been asking for something to make something shake in the playoffs. And we did. We had a home game, but, it ended short the way we didn't like it to. But, at least it was good for something in the school to build upon for next year.
Exactly. So I got a chance to watch you and defensive end Malik Van. He's the brother of Marquise Van from UConn. He played, linebacker?
Yeah,
linebacker. And then you got Jack Carmen, the number 1 offensive tackle in 2018 class, number 7th in the nation. So what was that like? All you guys are getting recruited pretty big, and you guys just being the leaders of the program. How was that playing alongside each other?
It was pretty special just to watch those guys grow up and then now become what they were. I think it really put the spotlight on Fairfield now to know that we have guys, too, just like everybody else around the country. It's just now starting to take notice that we have players just like everybody else has players. So I feel like that's going to help Fairfield in the long run, get schools over there to show what we have, because we have a bunch of talent over there that hasn't been seen before, but now it's just starting to take notice.
Exactly. So we were just talking to Josh about that. Leaving a legacy. Team Scott.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you to be a part of Team Scott, being the youngest?
That legacy, man.
Carrying that forward. What is that like to you?
It's huge. Starting at Fairfield, they set the way for me. Everybody was like, when they're gone, what are their younger brothers going to do? So I felt like it kind of pushed me and motivated me to get better, to follow up in those footsteps and be better than what they were, because, everybody expected the best from the youngest. So I just tried and worked hard, and look where I am.
Yeah. Exactly.
You like the grand finale of Team Scott. It's like, and you got to absorb all of that, man. You got to watch all of that, all of their hard work. And what do you think is one of your greatest lessons you learned watching them? Like, what were some, or you don't have to choose one, but what are some of the great things you learned that you took from watching them play?
You're not going to win all the time, but give everything you've got 100% every single game, because back then they weren't winning a bunch of games, but they still gave everything they got every single play, every single game. So I just felt like the hard work, what I took from it.
Yeah, hard work, because a lot of kids don't want to work hard, when they're in school, and so what do you say to them? What do you say to kids who like they want to make it? They're in high school. They want to be a Division I athlete. What do you say to them?
I say that if you want it as bad as you talk about it, go do something about it. Because there's a saying that everybody wants to be a beast, but when it's time to do what beasts do, you have to do it and you have to step up and do it. So I feel like you just can't slack off. If you want it bad enough, you want those hopes and dreams, and you want to be the big star, you have to work as hard. It's just not given to you because things in life just aren't given to you. So I feel like you just have to work hard all the time.
That's what it's all about. Hard work pays off. So with you, what was that recruiting process like? How was that experience? And, who were some of the schools you had to choose over, and what made you ultimately choose Michigan State?
I feel like the recruiting process was kind of stressful at first because, I had a great sophomore season, and then only like UC, they came and talked to me, but I was like, that's it. I feel like I played better than that. So, it was kind of frustrating and stressful for me at the beginning, but then everybody's telling me to be patient. So, I waited my turn, and schools started popping up after my junior year, in which they said it would happen. So I just felt like just the patient factor made it kind of hard for me because, I wasn't used to being patient before and waiting for what was mine. I just come and take and grab. So I felt like that was the hardest part of the recruiting process. But the schools I had to choose from at the time was West Virginia, Michigan State, Iowa, and Pitt. And then Indiana and Penn State came after. But I picked Michigan State because going up there the first time, it was kind of like that school clicked for me. I grew up watching Michigan State. They were no-fly zone, and I was a DB. So, that's a defensive back's dream school to go to growing up. So I felt like right when I went there, I bonded with the coaches. It was a family environment. The academics are great. So I felt like I just really connected with that school along with me being a super fan of them. So I feel like it was the perfect school for me all around.
Go green.
Go white.
Go green. So I know you got to be excited, man, to be able to play in the Big Ten, the big lights, playing against like Ohio State. I'll be at that game. Just let you know. What are your goals coming into your freshman year at MSU?
Just to get some playing time, get my feet wet now. So my sophomore year, I can have something bigger. I feel like I can go in there early and try to get some playing time. Maybe if I work hard enough, because I know there's some spots opening up right now that there's going to be a senior leaving, so I'm going to be coming out as a true freshman early. So I feel like if I can get some playing time as a freshman, maybe even start, it'll be a great start for me for the following years coming.
You got it. You got it, man. Just keep working hard. Just stay prayed up and, just stay faithful and just continue to do what you've been doing to get to this point. Right. So, besides, on the field, what do you plan on studying at Michigan State? Have you figured that out yet?
Something that's going in like physical therapy. I'm still deciding. I know before I leave, I'm going to have it decide, but like something that ties in like physical therapy or sports management. So I'm just still deciding. I've been talking to my parents and then my counselor, and they said, like, there's no rush, but, I feel like I should know what I want to do by the time I get up there.
See, with me, I started with sports administration, and you were entrepreneurial. And,
studies,
it's a journey.
It's a journey, for sure.
They say, like, the average student maybe changes their major maybe 3 times. Yeah. So you'll figure it out. It's just something that I tell you, major something you're passionate about. Go after something that you're going to enjoy. Take the classes that, you're going to enjoy and just take it one step at a time.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for you. So really, with you being the youngest, I know how it is. Just having 3 other brothers, older than you. Did you feel that pressure really like, oh, man, I got to live up to expectation?
Right.
What was that like? Did you feel pressure being the youngest to like live up to the hype?
Yes and no. Yes. At the beginning, knowing that like they did so many great things for Fairfield and then for football also, so you felt that pressure to just be just as great as them. But at the same time, when I got older, it's kind of like, well, they set the path for me, but I don't have to follow that same path. I could set my own footsteps. I have my own footsteps, so I just felt like it just wasn't like just to follow them and do everything they did. It was just to be my own man. So I feel like yes and no at the same time.
Yeah, so I already understand just like following up to the older siblings.
Yeah.
Just trying to live that, but everybody has their own journey, man. You got your own legacy, so proud of you on that end. But let's be real. Who's the fastest? Who's the fastest sibling? Who hits the hardest in the family?
Fastest.
Be careful of your answer.
Fastest, they used to get me when I was younger, but I think I got them now fastest.
I think you got it
a little older. But hit the hardest. I developed that trait too, so I think I got all of them and hitting the hardest too.
All right.
I'm gonna own up to it. I'm gonna own up to it.
He gonna hear that.
Yeah.
But I think you got it, man. You the fastest, and I don't know the hard. I don't know the hitting hard. It's either you or Josh. I don't know, but I know Elijah can hit. I didn't get to see Isaiah play, but I don't know.
There are some hard hitters.
We gonna see. But who was also the toughest player you ever had to guard? Who was the toughest receiver you had to go against? Or
there's a couple of them. I had
besides me.
He tears ACL trying to make one cut. He'd be like, Chad Ochocinco don't want to go down the middle.
I feel like Ashawn Riggins, he's a true freshman. I starts at Indiana right now at corner. I played against him. He played at Hamilton. He played receiver and DB, so he was one of my toughest receivers to go against. Also, Caleb Stoneburner from Dublin Kaufman. He's committed to Boston College. And I forget one guy's name from Northmont, but he was pretty fast and pretty quick. He knew what he was doing. He's pretty young, so he could develop that talent. So I feel like those were three of my toughest matchups.
Okay, so you got to show the respect to the opponent. So I know we live in Cincinnati, unfortunately. But I'm guessing you don't like the Bengals, do you?
No, I'm not a Bengals fan.
Who's your favorite NFL team? Like, if you were to be drafted by anybody, who would you? Well,
it would be nice to be drafted by anybody, but my favorite NFL team is the Eagles. Growing up, parents didn't allow us to be Bengals fans, since they're Browns fans, so that was kind of like an X. So I levitated to the Eagles with Donovan McNabb, Brian Dawkins, Brian Westbrook.
That was a live squad.
Yeah,
that was a live squad.
Brian Dawkins. Oh, he's a safety.
Yeah, Brian Dawkins. Safety.
He's trying to think like, who was that? That was a live squad.
Man, I do remember them.
Yeah,
I remember when T.O. played with them and everything. Poor Cincinnati.
Yeah, that was fake. When he came to Cincinnati, I was like, here we go. Here comes the ring.
Yeah, I know that's what everybody thought.
I had it.
They didn't take it seriously. They had their own show, him and Chad. I was like, what are y'all doing? Y'all need to be in practice.
It is what it is. But I know that you said the Eagles is your favorite team. Who was your favorite pro athlete, looking up to, or favorite defensive back that you maybe model your game after?
That's kind of hard because I really didn't model my game after like any corners growing up. Like now I do, but growing up watching those guys, I just like watching those guys like Brian Dawkins. I love his intensity he brought to the field every single game. So that was one person I like to watch a lot because he brought everything he had to the game every single play. And then also Ray Lewis too. He brought intensity. He wasn't a defensive back, but he was a great leader and he hit hard too. And
extremely hard.
Yeah, he brought that toughness to the game that not many people brought back then.
I got a chance to visit his statue in Baltimore. Got a chance to see that, the roar that he does. It was something special. He was one of my favorite players. Even though I never really got a chance to play football, I retired. I broke my left wrist and I broke my right wrist, so I had to announce my retirement. So it is what it is. But before the games, what's your pregame ritual? I had a pregame ritual. I listened to a certain song. I had a pregame meal. What's your pregame, go-to spots? What do you do before the games?
Pregame, I only have one ritual, and that's right before we take the field and we get together as a team. Actually, before we leave the locker room and as a team, I pray in front of my locker, wherever I'm at. Even if it's away, I pray in front of my stuff or my locker. Just pray over the game that I come out the same way I came in. So that's my pregame ritual. It's the same prayer each time.
So how important is your faith to just your journey?
It's huge because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for it. Just having a strong faith growing up, my parents and my brothers, going to church every single day, just establishing something with God. So I feel like it was huge just coming up.
Never forget where you come from.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Never forget where you come from. So have you got a chance to meet your future teammates or talk to them a little bit?
Yeah, we actually have a group chat going on right now, so we text and talk every single day. But I haven't met all of them in person yet. I've met one of them that's in my class, a future teammate, Weston Bridges, running back out of Copley, Akron, Ohio. So it's not that far away from here. We went up to Michigan State the day I committed there. Like, I silently committed there. He was saying how he was excited for me, and I really liked him right when I met him. He was a real funny dude. He's just real cool. So I feel like I'll be able to kick it with him a lot when I get down there. I'm going to get up there.
Okay. Well, that's good, man. You get a chance to build that chemistry,
right?
Because you want to get a chance to know who you're gonna be living with, you're gonna be hanging with, and get a chance to know the team and the no-fly zone.
Yeah,
so for
this weekend.
For the people out there, tell them what no-fly zone is. What does that mean?
No-fly zone was established by Michigan State. Just tough to pass against growing up, and then now it's been falling off a little bit, but we got to put it back on the map again, know who the real fly zone is. Well, the no-fly zone is.
Yes, sir. What you guys do? You got anything?
Well, I know we like to do this with, especially, athletes and everything. For those who are Michigan State fans, they want to know. So what's like a fun fact, about you that most people might not know? Something about you.
Growing up, at first, I didn't even want to play football. I just wanted to play soccer. And that's the total opposite of playing football. Football players don't like soccer players. So that's a fun fact. I didn't even want to play football first. Just a soccer guy.
Well, I think it turned out pretty good.
Yeah, I know.
Turned out pretty good. So all the hard work, man. Because the hard work that goes into it, I know it's just, it's 24/7. It's nonstop. So what wakes you up in the morning and say, I'm doing it again? What's your why?
My why is just change the lives of people around me. Those people bought into me so much. I feel like I should have to repay them somehow. Just taking me to school every day or just helping me out with something. I feel like I should have to repay those guys for doing stuff without even asking twice, like asking why. So I feel like it's just a huge thing to just do for them.
And that's good, man. That's always good to hear when your why is not about you. It's about other people. When like we were just talking about to Josh, people counting on you, accountability. When your why is about somebody else, when you're down, you'll be able to get back up. But if it's just about you, most likely you're going to quit.
Yeah.
So, that's good to hear, man. That's really good to hear.